All right, what is up, my friends? Today we are going to be planting in this Ahopegarden. This was kind of like an inexpensive brand off of Amazon version of like an AeroGarden, and it was quite a bit cheaper. And we had a lot of success. I mean, I planted in 4 different types of these gardens last year, and I had a lot of success specifically with leafy greens and with herbs. Not as much. I did some like cherry tomatoes and I did some little peppers and stuff, and just what you get out of it, you get so little actual fruit compared to like the effort you put in and the cost, that it wasn't worth it. But leafy greens were amazing, herbs were amazing, and it was awesome always having fresh, basically any time of the year. And it's been months and they've been sitting empty, and so I decided it was time to do some planting again. My biggest complaint with these though is just how expensive it is to go buy more of the little seed pods. So, you know, with my big tower I've got here, the seed pods are like $5 a piece. Even with the AeroGarden, which is the most similar to this, the seed pods are over $2 a piece. Whereas like these ones, this is just kind of like a, like standard, I mean, it's got a brand on it, Pacetap, whoever that is, right? It's just kind of your standard sort of off-brand little cone-shaped wool things, seed pods, and they happen to fit perfectly. In fact, it's funny because on the back of this box, the picture literally looks exactly like this, but without any branding on it, the picture of the device they're putting them into, and they fit totally perfectly. This box with 30 full setups, it's got the wool, it's got the little cone-shaped things. I'll pull some of these out. I don't know what any of these things are called. It's got these that hold the wool. It's got the rock wool. Well, this isn't really rock wool. It's more like a cork. It's got stickers to label them, and it's also got, these can actually go over the top. So you can put your seed in, and then this kind of goes over the top, and it's actually got slits in it so your plant can grow up through it. I don't know that I'll use them, but the original came with those on it. It's got covers so that if there's any spots I don't want to use, I can cover it up so it doesn't get so the water doesn't evaporate through that hole. And it's got the little lids. They're these little clear plastic cups. You're going to see all this in a minute, that you put on before the seed starts to sprout. Once it's sprouting and getting big enough, you can take that off. But basically it keeps everything moist, and while there's no roots, right? So it keeps this whole thing moist the whole time. So it's got everything you need. And this whole thing, this set was like 20 bucks. That's 75 cents a piece. It's way cheaper than the $2 a piece. I also just bought some stuff to do my garden is the brand, G-A-R-D-Y-N, my tower that I have out there. I bought some stuff to do that at just like a fraction of the price. We're talking like pennies per plant instead of $5 a piece for each pod. So now my biggest complaint with these is basically going away. So today we're gonna do a little bit of planting. We actually already had some success with this. So Jake, my brother, he took one of these home, the AeroGarden that we have, he took it home and he used the same sorts of things, planted some stuff in it. He's already got some good starts going. So pretty happy to see that. And frankly, I don't see any difference between these and what originally came with this. So I fully expect to get the exact same result. But today I'm going to show you exactly what this process looks like, how to plant in these things. We're going to plant exactly the seeds we want instead of some set that comes with these where you don't even get to pick your plants. And I'm going to show you the best ways to do this because we've already done it and made a lot of the mistakes that we could possibly make. So hopefully this time we get it right. All right, so here's what we're planting right now. We're going to do a little bit of sage and basil, just one of each of these. They produce quite a bit. For a small family, you're not going to need much more than one. We're going to do a couple lavender plants. Lavender is great. It's a pretty flower, but it's also does a great job of attracting bees, pollinating insects, and so it's really good to have in your garden. So we usually keep a couple potted plants of lavender in our garden anyway, outside, but this could work well. Like, I'm curious actually to see how well this works as like a seed starter. And then what happens if you take one of these and just like put it in the ground after it's already started and the roots are sticking out? I would imagine it would work just fine. So we're gonna do a couple lavender plants and then a couple chives. kind of same deal. We'll see how that works. Sort of like transplant, it's like transplanting, but we're not gonna pull the roots out of the cork here. And then some cilantro. So these are all things that should grow well in this kind of situation. The cilantro will work well in here the whole time. I'm imagining the chives and lavender probably gonna transplant at some point. All right, so to get started, first thing we wanna do is we wanna take these. Now I mentioned they're like, it's kind of like a cork cone, and it's got a little hole in the top, and that's just a perfect spot to just drop a couple of seeds into. We'll probably put a few seeds of each kind. You know, some plants, you're gonna get a higher percentage of the seeds that actually yield, but if we just throw a few in, we're good. If we get multiple sprouts, we'll pick the healthiest looking one, we'll use scissors and just snip off the others and end up with just one. So I'm gonna take these corks and we're actually gonna put them in a bowl of water. Very simple, okay. And we're gonna let them get saturated with water, okay? Now, then we've got, this is how this whole thing works. It's got a little pump inside. It's kind of cool. It's got a little pump that's just gonna help the water sort of move and circulate. And then this just sits right on top. We can fill it easily from this little stopper, or you could just pre-fill it like this. We'll fill it after we're done here. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put these little cone cage things. These go in each of these holes. And they're just there, they hold the cork in place. They're open in the bottom so that the water that's inside here can be sucked up through that cork. And so we'll just need one in each spot. And then once we put the seeds in, we'll drop them in. So let me show you what that looks like. So to do that, we're gonna start by getting some seeds ready. We got this piece of paper. It looks like somebody started making a paper airplane. It's not actually what's going on here, although it could be. We'll start with the sage, and you're gonna see why this piece of paper is so brilliant. Was it my brilliant idea? No, actually. It was actually an idea that Jake told me about. They were doing this because it helped so much with getting the seeds in place. Let's see if I can open this. Lost my pocket knife yesterday. Let me grab one of these. Here we go. That'll work. Let's slit that open. Kind of a big knife for this. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna put a few seeds. Oh, look at that, I got way too many. What am I gonna do? So what I'm gonna do is actually just separate out. I only want, I don't know, 3 or 4. Okay, there's 4. So all these extras, see look, I'm pinching right between where I want, like these are all the extras back here. I just dump them all back in. There we go. And then I have, well, actually I have like 5 or 6 right there, still on the paper. And then I can just take those and dump them forward into one of these. We'll try to get a close up on one of those a little bit later. All right, now I'm just gonna put that in here like I said I would show you, and one is done. We'll take one of these little caps, we'll put it on top, and again, it's just gonna help water from evaporating too quickly, and it's gonna help keep that seed nice and moist the whole time. All right, so Jake tells me he does wanna use the little stickers, which makes sense because we do need to label what it is, or we can just wait and figure out in a month or so. No, so I'm gonna write basil on one, no, sage, that was sage. I'm gonna write sage, okay? And then we'll peel off the sticker, and there's a little hole in the center that we don't want. So we're gonna take that out. So now you've got like a hole in the middle, okay? And we just stick that on, just like so. So now, not only do we have it labeled, but we have that, it's like partly covered, but the plants will go right up the middle. And so you're gonna be able to see once they start to sprout. There's a reason they come like that too when you buy the pods, and so I'm guessing that there's a purpose in that. And so we're gonna go ahead and go with it. All right, next, let's go ahead and do the basil. All right. These seeds are a bit smaller. That time I managed to not get tons of extras, so that's nice. So I'll pinch it back here a little ways. And got them all in. And that is so brilliant. Then I don't have to use, they give you these little tweezer things. That's, I appreciate that they thought about that, but trying to like handle individual seeds with this is just such a pain. Okay, we'll put that in here. We'll write basil on the next sticker. We'll put the sticker on. And then we're just gonna go through this process 6 more times. Yeah, that's a pretty good set of all the stuff, because it's got everything, even these little stickers. How to get your brother to plant your garden. It's gonna be a whole series. Then you're pretty much home free. Great idea for a video. Okay, Jake, what's the next project?
Yeah. Well, I need a chicken coop, so.
All right, this one, I don't know, 2 to 3 seeds at most. These are huge. Cilantro, if it's just. And of course I grabbed cilantro, even though the next label I wrote was chives. We'll do cilantro next, and then we'll do chives last. But that. Do you have the plug for this? Maybe I need to switch and be like the Property Brothers or something, who, you know, swing the hammer for 2 minutes and then leave the set.
Yeah.
Just kidding, I don't mind doing the work. Some of us actually do work. Not all YouTubers are fake, just most. Now we're set up with our Ahopegarden. And so next all we've got to do is plug it in and turn it on. Oh yeah, and we'll add some water, I guess. All right, plug it in, power, and then you can select flowers/fruits or vegetables. Vegetables is gonna be fine. I don't know that it really is gonna make that big of a difference, but it changes the color a little bit. And then the water, there's a little light on the top of this one. It just tells you when the water's running. Whew, I'm like, there's a lot of light in my face now. All right, this telescopes upward, which is cool, because as your plants get tall, you're gonna need it higher, but it also helps get it out of the way so I can pour the water in here a little more easily. Now, like any good cooking channel, I have my pre-filled water ready to go. Your ingredients pre-measured for you. All right. The pump's a little happier now that it has water to pump. And there's a little window on the front, I'll show you in a sec, that can tell you how full it is. So it's really easy to tell when you need to add water. All right, we're basically full. All right. So, little window right there on the front. We're just below the full line. Also, if you accidentally get a little bit on the top, it literally has holes so that extra water can just like fall down in there. We'll just cap that off. We can lower this back down until we actually have some sprouts, and we basically don't have to do anything. Now with this particular one, it's an inexpensive model. So I can't really like set the time on it for like when I want the light to turn on and off every day. It's just gonna run for a set amount of time every single day, and then the light's gonna turn off. And it bases it based on when I turned it on. So what I found that I like to do is we'll leave it plugged in today, and then first thing tomorrow morning, like as early as I'm up and want lights to be on, I'll just come over, turn it off and back on, and now I've reset it, and that's when it's gonna wake up. And that way, like when I wanna go to bed, the lights are off. It's more important if it's like in a room, like a bedroom with you or something, which, by the way, my big tower garden was literally in my bedroom for a while. And so that's something that was important to us. But that one you can actually set the time on. It just costs more. So there we go. Now we're gonna have some good sprouts and then eventually some really good plants just inside this little cool hydroponic garden. Now, one thing that we didn't cover here is plant food. The Ahopegarden actually came with a little bit of plant food. That didn't come in this set. I'm gonna do a little bit of research on some different things that we could use to do that ourselves. I have a feeling that you could probably just use like your generic Miracle-Gro plant food and mix it in with some water. But when you're doing just the starts, you don't really need to use the plant food anyway. But at some point we're gonna defeat it something other than just water. So we'll add that in next time, and I'll share an update with you once I know, or once I'm confident that I know what should work well for most hydroponic gardens. That way you don't have to pay a fortune for whatever mixture, whatever brand you bought is trying to sell you. I'd love to hear from you in the comments if you have any experience with one of these, or just have ideas of what you think might work well. I have a little over a year's worth of experience using these, but that's about it, right? So we're always and all about learning and improving our processes, and we don't claim to be the world expert on everything. We just want to share what we know, and I hope you'll share what you know with us. So comment below what works well for you. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you found it helpful. I actually have found these to be extremely convenient, so it allows me to always have those fresh leafy greens and herbs, and you can do it year round. Eventually the plants are gonna get too big, the roots are gonna get too big. I mean, you can cut them down, you can tear out parts of the roots and everything, but eventually the plants just kind of outlive their lifespan. You just get a new little piece of cork and you just start again. And it's really just as easy as that. So I actually really love having a couple of these. So anyway, if you love preparedness and you like being able to be more self-reliant, that's what this channel is all about. So I hope you'll check out some of our other videos. That's what we do here.